Is the Fifine K669B worth the purchase, or should you buy something more expensive like the Blue Yeti? I'm going to help you answer that in this review and comparison. To do that, all the audio in this video will be recorded using both of these microphones. You'll be able to see the one that I'm actually recording on this stand, but I'll also have an icon on the screen as well. I'm going to go for price, performance, convenience, then give my verdict on which is the better buy. So get some headphones so you can hear clearly, and let's get started. Price. I bought my Fifine K669B for $35 earlier this year. The price has gone up a little bit since then, and it continues to fluctuate. The Blue Yeti MSRP is for $130, and the prices remain more consistent. For current prices, I've linked both of these microphones in the description. These are both USB microphones, and the price is ideal for someone just getting into uploading YouTube videos or streaming on Twitch, but they don't want to destroy their wallet. Performance. These two devices pick up sound differently. The Fifine records audio in cardioid, which is from the front. You only get a really little bit from the sides, and then it blocks out the rear. The Blue Yeti can also record in cardioid mode, but as you can see on the back, it has different modes. It can record omnidirectional, all sides, bidirectional, which is useful for conducting interviews. It can record in stereo mode, which can be used if you really want to separate the audio channels that you hear when you hear back in playback. But I just use cardioid mode. If you're recording music with multiple instruments around the room, then omnidirectional can be very useful. But for the overall majority of Twitch streamers and YouTube uploaders, cardioid mode is going to be enough. But anyway, how do they sound? You already have a decent idea of how these two compare just from listening to this video, but here are the 4 elements that stood out to me. First of all, the Yeti has a louder noise floor. That's the subtle hum or buzz that you hear in the background when there's nothing recording, but you still hear that hum while there is something recording. It's just like in the background. To mitigate this, you're gonna have to decrease the gain as low as possible. And note that the gain on the Yeti is on the back of the mic, it's not on the front. That's for if you put headphones in and you wanted to listen to it back in real time. Secondly, the Yeti picks up more background noise, like fans from a game console or PC, or the AC outside, or even cars going by. That's a negative for me, but it might not be for you. Third, both mics capture quite a bit of sibilance, which is that sharp high frequency whenever there's an S sound made. So for the Fifine, the slippery snail slid all over the sliding slope, and the Yeti, the slippery snail slid all over the sliding slope. There's not really a whole lot you can do about that except editing in post with like a de-esser or something. That's just how these mics are. There are some tricks to how you can speak to alter that, but I'm not really a master of any of that, so I'll just leave it at that. Lastly, both mics do a good job mitigating plosives, which are those puffs of air that distort sound when you say P's or B's. I was under the impression that I would absolutely need this pop filter to get usable sound out of these mics, but that wasn't really the case. This is the Fifine. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. On the Yeti, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. So for this, if you are still having problems, you can fix it with a pop filter, which is designed to block out some of that gust of wind, but still let in the sound. Overall, these mics are not radically different. I thought the Yeti was gonna completely blow the Fifine away, but it didn't go down like that. My personal favorite mic is discontinued. It is the Blue Raspberry. Now this mic sounds quite a bit different than these two. It has more bass, it reduces plosives even more. It doesn't get quite the high frequencies as either of these two microphones, so it kind of smooths out your voice to give you a little bit more of that Morgan Freeman type voice if you have like a naturally more whiny voice like Gary Vaynerchuk. So that's what I really like about this microphone. I would have reviewed it if you could still buy it, but the Blue Yeti and the Fifine don't sound that different. Now let's get into convenience, but this is still very related to performance. Both of these mics, like almost any other mic, sound way better when they're close to your face. Less than arm's length. If you have it further away, you lose bass, your voice sounds muffled, and it's like you're talking from the back of a room. If you watch my older videos before I was more experienced with different audio techniques and different microphones, this was a big problem for me. My microphone was pretty decent, but I was very far away from it. And that can make just as much of a difference in your sound quality as the actual mic that you're using itself. So I highly suggest a mic stand with an attachable pop filter. Both of these mics do have built-in stands. The Yeti's is way better, it's taller, it's sturdy. The Fifine's is really flimsy and short, and it can fall over if the legs aren't set up just right. But neither of them really go high enough or can be put close enough to you with the built-in stands alone. Verdict. Overall, you can't go wrong with either of these. With the Yeti, you're buying the brand more than anything else. That's why it's probably the most popular microphone on YouTube and Twitch right now. And if you're balling and you like the extra recording modes and build quality, then it's a really good choice. Personally, I recommend the Fifine K669B because of the price and still comparable audio quality. With both of them, I do suggest getting a mic stand. I've linked the one that I'm using right now below. It was very easy to set up. It was pretty cheap, but the build on the stand is a little cheap. If you find something that is a little bit higher quality that you want, as long as it works with your microphone, the Fifine or the Yeti, I would definitely go with that. And of course, I've linked both microphones in the description below.